really cool. All right, Netflix. I mean, this week has been a bit nutty with gaming. So Bloomberg is reporting that Netflix is making big moves to begin offering video games as part of their service in 2022. So this includes hiring a whole bunch of people and advertising a whole bunch of positions, including Mike Verdu from EA, Oculus, Zynga, as a VP for game development. So this isn't like, how do we bring in other games to the service? This is building their own games, very Netflix style, as they have done with their own IPs, bringing in TV shows and movies that haven't existed, and then really, having a differentiated product offering. So previously they'd licensed some of their IP to then other parties to make games, including Stranger Things 3, the game. Have produced, Castlevania and other animated shows with Splinter Cell and Cuphead. I forgot about Cuphead, actually. That's pretty cool. That's on the way. But boys, like, Mike, what do you think this is going to be? Is this going to be like in the TV browser? Are you going to be able to add a controller? What do you think it's going to shape up as?
And there's so little known about it, I think, at this point. I would imagine what makes the most sense, but I don't know if it's going to work that well, is exactly that it's just part of their streaming service. You get a controller. So that when you think about what they did a while back with what was that?
Black Mirror.
Called? With the Black Mirror special episode.
Bandersnatch,
that's the one, where you could choose what to do next. I mean, I know that's a very simplistic version of it, but in a way it was almost like playing an interactive choose your own adventure kind of game. Now,
well, and I wouldn't say it's simple.
Different.
They said that they could have either made a whole season of Black Mirror or that one episode. That was the choice for them. And they chose to make that one episode.
Well, no, what I mean is it's definitely wouldn't have been simple, but I mean, a format like that as a game, if you could think of it as a game, compared to integrating a controller, having no lag, minimal lag, it's a different kind of thing. I think it's a completely different ballpark. So can they achieve that through a streaming service? Man, I have no idea. I don't know. But it'd be the ideal way to do it if you could.
If Telltale hadn't gone under, we would have already been at that point, I think, because they were already working with them on a bunch of that stuff. And then Telltale obviously went the way of the dodos. So, but yeah, no, this is definitely, from all reports, is part of the streaming, service or the subscription that you get. I think that at some point for them to launch something separate, I think would just be like, well, then you've already got Amazon Luna that no one's talking about. You've already got Facebook Gaming that's on the horizon. You've already got obviously Stadia and xCloud and PS Now and all these other kind of things. Whereas if it's part of the same ecosystem, then people don't feel like they feel like it's just an addition. And I think they're more likely to try it out because obviously they don't have to potentially pay for it, depending on what the model is. So
well, last thing I was
going to say was, The reports are also saying that they're potentially looking at this as a way to then lead up to eventual price increases for the subscription in general as well, or at least tier levels. Maybe, okay, the high tier gets you access to the game part. I
guess to clarify the question, is a game like Destiny 2, which is available on everything, Stadia, Luna, every single platform has Destiny 2. Is a game like Destiny 2 going to be available through Netflix? I guess that's the question I have.
I think that they will potentially do a mix like they do with their programming. They'll have their Netflix original style games that they produce, and then they'll have a bunch of, to fill out the library, they'll have stuff that is probably, I don't know if they'll get the big AAAs. They'll probably go for maybe things like Limbo style games and stuff like that. I'm just thinking like what would make sense to fill out a library that's not going to, I don't think they're competing directly here with any of the existing services. They're kind of trying to do something unique, I think.
But you do think that a game like Destiny 2 could come to the service?
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, it could, yeah. And
interesting.
I think because that's proven to work well, Stadia. Now, I don't know the tech behind Netflix and how that's going to work, but assuming they could get to that point, then we know that stuff is viable. So
I think the question then for me becomes, because Apple has blocked explicitly xCloud as an app, right? Because it's offering games. What are they going to do in Netflix? Like, how are they going to handle that situation? Because I would be shocked if they create a separate app called like Netflix Gaming. That doesn't make any sense to me. It would be like you go in your Netflix app like normal, and there'll just be like new pop-ups that say, hey, do you want to play these games? These games work well on TV with a remote, or hey, you need to grab a controller for these games, and sync it up. But then what is Apple going to do? Like, I feel like Apple...
I know they could potentially use Bandersnatch or any kind of they could basically say we've already had this equivalent, an interactive experience through our service,
Yeah, I think the smart thing to do would be introduce all the Bandersnatch style games first, because then how's Apple going to argue against that? You already had a Bandersnatch, right? Yeah. Get that filled out and then go to the next level, which is like, in these games you can use a controller, but it's still Bandersnatch style. And then it's like you go, and then there's Destiny 2. And then like take Apple to court at that point, because Apple's kind of screwed themselves. It's like they've allowed Flex and then
it's Flex, but it's not a game.
Well, Bandersnatch is a game in my view. It's interactive.
It's an interactive medium, but it's not a game.
That's what a game is to me. But I like this is a 5-hour conversation.
Got nothing to do with us, yeah. Well, this is a 5-month court case, but yeah.
That's the Zoe Quinn argument. Let's not get into that stuff. So.
All right, but yeah, I'm actually excited to see when this comes out. Just to see how it goes. More options for gaming, the better. It's better for gaming. So I'm all for it.